chin. And the two jugulars, again, one there and one there. So there's the tendons in the armpit. You tend to cut those a bit, but as long as you don't really cut them, not so bad. Now I'm on to the skull, the home stretch. So a lot of people usually don't like this part because they can't tell where they are. So you just go into the meaty parts. Anywhere you see like a bit of a stretch, that's where you go. You'll cut through the ear cartilage. And then once you're through the ear cartilage, which is pretty far down, like they got a long face on these guys, so. But once you get to the ear cartilage part, you guys can see what I'm doing here. Hopefully that wasn't all off camera. Hopefully it was on camera stuff. Yeah, there you go. This is why when you get to the head, make sure just before you get to the head, do the last quick sharpen up on your knife and stuff like that, so you don't after that. But anyway, there you go. Now you can start going up like this, and put a little tension on them there. Well, there, you flip them around about 100 more times, and you just when you get near the face, it's a lot. Hopefully you guys can see this. It's a lot easier. You can see what you're doing. You just flip them around, and you're going to feel the jawbone and all that on your knife. Just go easy because every time you hit that bone, it dulls your knife a bit and then slows down your process. And you can kind of squeeze as you're doing this, so just puts a little tension, and then you'll get to the point where you get a kind of resistance on the side, and that's, like I say, the eyes and the ears and stuff like that. And when you get to the lip, it's almost the home stretch. Now the good news is underneath, it's not as critical if you make a cut there, but again, the goal is not to ever cut into the pelt if we can help it. But if you do, you're going to be cutting the bottom lip away anyway, so you can get a little bit aggressive there if your patients are starting to wear thin or whatever. But this guy, I think he's going to be about 2 hours. He's definitely cold. He's not frozen, so not so bad. But anyway, I just want to get this done for you. My knife is starting to dull. No. Again, these are probably the hardest guys to do. I mean, it's work no matter which animal it is. Okay, then we get into the lip and the bottom jaw. And whatever clothes you wear, those are going to be your fleshing clothes, because they're going to get ruined even if you have yourself a good old-fashioned there we go. Open the lip there, get your thumb in and get some tension on it around the eye. There we go. Ow, he's biting me. You're not supposed to bite me, you're dead. Otter's revenge. Okay, there we go. Now, again, be very careful when you're doing this so you don't cut into yourself. It wouldn't take much. This wouldn't take much. Hopefully, get the angle a little bit better here. Sorry about that. And then, just gonna do that. Pull out there a little bit. This is why you don't want a pointy knife, so you're not cutting into yourself. This guy's a little bit tougher. But then again, I should have probably done him yesterday. My goal was to get under. I thought, like you get to the 1 hour mark and you think you're doing really good. Now I'm at the eye here. You get to the 1 hour mark and you think you're doing really good, and then you get down to the shoulders and the head, and it's just like, okay, wow. Now, mind you, I've went inside a few times just to warm up, stuff like that, because it is kind of cold out here. I gotta cut that down a bit. Watch your thumb in there. Watch out. You don't cut into yourself or slip. Don't put a lot of pressure on these things, because it doesn't take much to hurt yourself. And I mean, these knives, they might be dull while you're fleshing, but they're still plenty sharp enough to take off a finger, especially if your hands are really cold. You'd cut your finger off. I'm working on my snare. I know this place is a disaster. I will clean it up maybe tonight if I have a chance, but last thing I got to do with my poor otter here is I'm letting them thaw out really well. And he is, hopefully this will catch it. There we go. Just about perfectly primed. He's really nice. Just trying to get that angle so you can see the undergrowth there. But he's just about some. He's an old one. He's a very old otter. He's still quite stinky, but he's very nice. Beautiful pelt on him. Just beautiful. Look at that. That's nice. So before I flesh him, I want to make sure he's like completely thawed out. He's like concaving on me. What the heck's going on? Sorry with the sunlight. I didn't even get the idea. But he's a really nice one. When you go to flesh them, make sure they're 100% thawed out. Now, I've been looking at some. The thing about trapping is you're always learning. Anybody that tells you they know everything and just do this one way and that's it, don't listen to those people. They might have a good method, but the problem is, hey, wait, I think I do that. Okay, scratch what I just said. Okay, they might have one method that works really well, and if they do, obviously employ it. But always search for, regardless of that, never be closed-minded to trying something that might work really well. I've always been kind of semi-leery of snares, but these are passive snares, so these would be considered a restraining trap. Now, I can't do this with one-handed, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start showing my snares. And I bought two types of snares. Those are the wolf snares. Those are the big ones. And I know it's kind of dark over here, but I'm just testing them to see that they're functioning and ready to go. Now, when I first bought these snares, I waxed them and I dyed them. So I'm just going to get this cam in the right spot here. And then I'm going to, yeah, see that one is not fully... It's not bad, but it's not dropping quite as free as I would like. So I'm going to work those snares a little bit to make sure that they drop freely. I'm going to be taking the crossbow today. That should be interesting. And I got my crossbow today. Yeah. I wonder if I should have took the dust off of it before I brought it out. I don't use this thing nearly enough. I do have it up for a trade on my Facebook for a rifle with a stainless barrel. Or all-weather rifle type of thing for a varmint rifle. I figured that'd be a better way for me to go. But I figured I'd take this out today because this is lighter and it is cold out here today. You can see but yeah. So I put out some wolf snares last night, or the night before. No, last night, yesterday. And I baited it yesterday anyway. And I was doing some research last night for some snares, stuff like that. And I showed you some snares in a previous video. I'll be showing you more on it. But I think I'm going to plan a strategy that hopefully I'll get it out in the next couple of days, early for next week, because I still got to do that other beaver dam too. And today I got to finish up my otter. And oh, here's my doing the wood. And then I got to hopefully be skinning a wolf tonight. But I'm going to work on those snares. And what I'm going to do with the snares is a strategy I saw this guy use, where you got a creek and a hill, you set the snares at the top of the hill, like within, you know, like a couple of yards of your bait, and then your bait is the lure actually, and the trail is your bait, if that makes sense. You know, the trail is the bait. That's how the, you know, I remember Ted Nugent said that one time with deer hunting. He goes, the trail is the bait. You know what I mean? Like, that's true. It's true. And just so you know, knife of the day, I saw a creed. Actually traveling kind of light today. Just got the tongs with me. Learned something interesting about my otter yesterday. He was an old otter. His teeth were ground down. He was pretty old. It's hard to kind of date how old those things are, but yeah, so I'm pretty excited for my new strategy. But it is very cold, and I have my otter in the basement thawing out 100%, so hopefully I'll be able to flesh him in one go without him completely freezing up on me. And I'm going to do that as soon as I get back. But what I'm going to do is, as I get around the corner here, is I am going to, I've already kind of safety checked my, if you're going to ask what it is, this, I guess it'll be about a decade old now. When I first moved back up here, I wanted one of everything, which I still do. And I'm still working on that, but I'm too poor to do it. But one of the things I wanted was a crossbow. I never owned a crossbow before until this is the only one I've ever owned. And I've only shot them a handful of other ones a handful of times. So what I did was I researched what was the biggest, baddest crossbow in the world at the time. Behold, the Excalibur 225-pound pull, 350 feet per second, 3.5-pound trigger, 6.5-pound beast, the Matador. I don't know what to call this thing, and I haven't shot anything with it yet. And hopefully someday I do. But I bought it, and you know, I don't even think I got 200 shots off. Well, no, I probably got more like 500 shots off of this. But I just never really used it. I'm more of a bow guy. I'm gonna get down here on some leveler ground. I'm using a don't know what bolt. I think this is a Carbon Express and a Excalibur Exact broadhead with some cobwebs on it. So what I'm going to do is put this down. I'm going to load this guy. I won't load him right in the sun so you guys can see how it's done. I got my string cocker. Still got the scopes caps on it. I bought the scopes as an aftermarket thing. Now pretty much all crossbows come with scopes and everything like that. I'm going to get this all set up. Oh geez, this thing ever dirty. Anyway, yeah, I'll pause the video here and then I'll show you how I do it. So, crossbows. Why am I bringing this beast out today? I mean, going into that abyss of bush in there. Well, maybe I'll get lucky and I'll see a wolf or a coyote. Let's see, green or brown? We'll go green. Green side down. And then we load this in a safe manner. There we go. Make sure your bolt is all the way to the back. I'm going to leave the scope caps on it. There we go. Keep it away from your face. Don't trip and fall, especially when it's this slippy out. So, here's why. Okay, just so you know, my other rifle weighs approximately. Oh, thing of garbage there. Don't want to look at that. Hopefully that gets moved. I didn't put it there, but the thing of approximately 12 pounds or so on my rifle. I'm just gonna scope the field. Not that I could shoot that far, but oh, I know why it's blurry. My scope caps are on. I am a huge fan of see-through scope caps. Why get all the dirt and stuff on there if you don't need to? I know it's bright like this. Okay, it's a little bit smudgy looking, but it's not so bad. But anyway, this weighs 6.5 pounds. Here's what I'm talking about. Here's my handgun. Let's see, I'll pick okay, there's some leaves back there. I have to be very careful. Don't want to be too much of a fool with this thing. But I could basically, okay, there's the leaves. There, I could pull the, can't hold it too long, but I could hold this up forever and a day with one finger. And if I do a tripod, perfect eye alignment on the scope. I could hold this. There's some leaves there that I'm just scoping out. At a 40 yard is the furthest I would hunt with this. Excalibur recommends not hunting over 40. They say you could take game at 50.